Vietnam-era military wall, 1/8 of the wall. Right now we're standing in front of a Huey from the United States Army during that era. The Vietnam War. In the early 60s, the nation found itself in an undeclared war in the Southeast Asia when the United States committed troops to prevent the overthrow of South Vietnamese government by communist insurgents. Most Americans at first paid little attention to the limited war as troops' demands increased and casualties rose. However, many considered the conflict an impasse with no means of quick victory. Anti-war feeling grew and sparked unrest on college campuses. Ordinary citizens spoke out against the war, and some young men fled to Canada to evade the military draft. In the early 70s, President Richard Nixon implemented a plan called Vietnamization, which called for American withdrawal as South Vietnam took over the war. Without American military support, South Vietnam fell to communist forces in April of 1975. The war quickly reached Camp Lejeune, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, and Fort Bragg, the largest military bases in the Tar Heel State. All three expanded to handle the increasing numbers of military servicemen and women. More than 200,000 recruits received basic training at Fort Bragg from 66 to 70. Thousands of North Carolinians served during the Vietnam War, and more than 1,500 died. On May 23, 1987, the North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated on Capitol Square in Raleigh. And this is the Vietnam maps.
But this only has a list of the casualties of Vietnam. But the ones that served in that area,
much greater, maybe 1 million or so.
Oh, it was like, I think it was over 5 million or whatever that totally served.
Yeah.
And that's the list of the casualties. But what we also go through is you're asking questions about it. It's therapeutic for a lot of those guys. That they come up, even for the ones that did serve, okay, where they served.
Mm-hmm.
This is a map of Vietnam.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of these guys, they have to show me, or I'd like to ask them, well, where did you serve? Were you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You never know how meaningful that is.
Yeah, I know.
And then if you're looking for a particular name, let us know, we'll help you find it.
Yeah. Here's some of the pictures and things and patches.
I see. Okay. Appreciate you having us.
Pilot helmet. This is the Southeast Asia bloodshed carried by flight crews that flew overseas in Asia. Stated in several languages that the U.S. would reward anyone assisting the bearer to safety. So, in English it says, I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I do not speak your language. Misfortune forces me to seek your assistance in obtaining food, shelter, and protection. Please take me to someone who will provide for my safety and see that I am returned to my people. My government will reward you. There's a Huey Slick UH-1 boot.
They make them just like this today with the little boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You see the pattern?
Yeah.
Same except
This is borne by a Spec 4 Specialist 4th Class Infantryman with the 199th Light Infantry Brigade in 1970. This is an Army advisor shirt worn in the 50s. It belonged to a captain of the military. Vietnam. The patch on the left sleeve was made in Vietnam and is of early loop construction. The South Vietnamese national flag. And there's Communist China. And this is the Vietnam decorations. This is the National Liberation Front, the Viet Cong flag. The stars and stripes are still around today. The war is over. This is what a field ration would look like. This is the heroes of 1966 right here. This picture right here is just 1 week's dead in the Vietnam. Is this flag flying over there? There's a toilet paper. Inside of it. This is what they would be wearing. Vietnam memorabilia display. Viet Cong soldiers would often pop up behind American lines from small openings in the ground called spider holes. And they would shoot at the Americans and disappear back in the tunnels. They were called tunnel rats. Or the American soldiers would call tunnel rats, would crawl into the tunnels with only a pistol.
On the other side of the canal, you got farmers still working, and bullets are flying over their heads and stuff. But they had a choice: die by a stray bullet or starve to death, because the rice has to be harvested in a very narrow period of time. There's a battle going on that time. They still had to get the rice,
Yeah.
or they wouldn't make it through the next year.
Growing seasons.
Right. Yeah. So what they did was go underground. The land over there would lend itself to tunnels because it's laterite. So it sticks together very good, so you don't have to put a lot of shoring up to
Man. And they called them tunnel rats, the Americans?
Tunnel rats were what we called our guys who would crawl into trouble.
Oh.
Give them a flashlight and a 45 caliber handgun. And, yeah, they were usually, you'd be a tunnel rat. Well, I went into one when I was probably 110, 112 pounds. And I got in about 6 foot and my shoulders got stuck
Oh, man.
on there. And even if I turned sideways, I couldn't go through it. I started screaming to get me out.
Oh.
And that had been cleared. That tunnel had been cleared.
And for people to have
look for intelligence.
claustrophobia, that would
Freak
be,
me out.
yeah, that would freak you.
Well, what they did, they had generators. But if you look over here, one of the ways they generated power, they would take bicycles.
Oh.
Generators stole them from our American Duesenhash. Hook the wheel to the back wheel of the bicycle up to the generator by a hand belt and just pedal away and generate electricity. They usually had 2 or 3 guys standing by so they'd take turns jumping on the bike. But that was mostly for the hospitals and stuff. In the individual cells and stuff, they would have an oil lamp. That's why they had supplies of oil, stocks of oil, kerosene and stuff.
So they were covered up real good.
They got shell things.
Well, Shell Oil was a French company. It was,
Oh.
or Dutch. I guess they were Dutch, and they were as much. They wouldn't commit to us or to the economy, but they helped. So they supplied the economy just as much as they supplied us, and they had enough money that bought politicians and.
Yeah. That's pretty neat.
Well, yeah, I've never seen anything. That's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
Thank you for serving.
That's amazing, because I didn't even think that they would have an operating room and
Well,
rice
they had no
storage
choice. I mean,
and kitchens.
We had the airplanes and helicopters.
Yeah,
They couldn't stay above ground and continue to fight. We would destroy them.
right.
They had been doing cave fighting for thousands of years.
And that was their secret. I mean, you know,
That's what they do.
or their advantage.
Well, they would abandon some of them, and then they come back and open them back up.
Do it.
Americans found one opening. They would have. The Vietcong sometimes would often blow one, once to get everybody else, blow one so the Americans could get even further. Then they'd dig a way out.
Yeah.
And over here, what they do is dig down to the water table and then just dip down and get water without having to come up to the rivers or anything.
I like this operation. It's detailed right there.
I found some maps on the computer and I just shrunk them down as little as I could get them.
Okay,
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are we here to educate?
Never again should one generation of veterans forget another, which is very true.